And Rob, I'm interested to see where you're at on this because you lost shekels on this. And of course, that was last night, the Nets against, I would say the hapless Houston Rockets, but they've actually won 8 straight.
Is it 8
They're
or 7?
rolling.
Is it 8?
Maybe it's 7, but they're on a win streak.
Right.
7 or 8 straight. Right. And Brooklyn goes there, and of course, you got to rest somebody. So they not only rest Kevin Durant, they rest LaMarcus Aldridge too. And Rob, I'm going to say it again because it bears saying, and you can bring up your friend and say it too. I'm sorry. Enough with the load management. Call me the old man. Call me old school. I call you to show me the proof. Rob, am I wrong? Show me the proof that this load management works. Because I got dudes getting hurt left and right. Load management or not.
Look,
you said a friend of yours went to the game last night. He's pissed.
He went to the game. I went to the game with him on Sunday. I went with 3 buddies. He was one of them. And he was excited about going to this game that Brooklyn's coming to town. And he was like, I'm going to be in the park. I'm going to be in the stadium again for the Brooklyn game. So he was hyped about it. You know what I mean? He wanted to see KD or whatever.
Yep.
So you just feel like you cheated. Like he got tickets, and then they find out KD's not playing and all
for rest. If he's hurt, you understand.
Right. Everybody can buy that. Oh, he's on a disabled list or injured list, whatever you want to call it today. Chris, you're just like, okay, no problem. He ain't playing because he played the night before, and I paid tickets. I keep telling you, the NBA, I'm waiting for the class action lawsuit. I'm surprised someone hasn't done this. There's 2 things. Should be a class action lawsuit. And Chris, we should go into business and have where you could buy insurance, player insurance, for people who don't play games that you bought tickets for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what? You get your money back. I think you go broke. I think the insurance company would go broke.
We would be out of business. Right.
You'd be giving out money every night. It's ridiculous.
I mean, but it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
it really is. And again,
it's Rob, if it was working, honestly.
Right. And you talked about it.
If it were working and guys never really got hurt anymore.
All the injuries, Chris, last year? All the injuries.
It's crazy. It's just as much, if not more, than before. And it might be more. And so there's that. And we could talk about it in baseball with pitching in particular.
There's nothing but injuries. And guys are in better shape, Chris, they've ever been. Better training facilities, better doctors, better medical staff,
travel,
nutritionists,
equipment,
masseuses.
Training.
I mean, what don't they have?
Yep. And they don't want to play. But anyway, the point I was going to make is that you thought Brooklyn still would win because James Harden, right? Some people thought he'd go for 50 or 60. He was returning, of course, to Houston, right? Which is where he became a superstar. Right, where he became a superstar. Instead, Rob, he struggles mightily. And, he put up, numbers, of course, because he's James Harden. And that's what he do, right? That's what he does. James Harden ended up having 25 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 dimes. But he shot 4 of 16 from the field and had 8 turnovers.
Right.
And here's my point, Rob. I don't even care about last night's game. It's 1 of 82. I don't even care that James Harden didn't have the best game. What I care about is the season that James Harden is having. And it's similar to Patrick Mahomes, Rob. Patrick Mahomes not having a horrible season. Patrick Mahomes very likely will still make the Pro Bowl, deservedly. But he's not playing up to the superstar level that he has set and that we expect of him. And that is exactly what is happening with James Harden. Rob, James Harden is, these are his numbers. 20.9 points a game, so 21 points, 9.6 assists, darn near 10 assists, and 8 rebounds a night. He's almost averaging a triple-double. But this will not cut it, Rob. And I'm telling you, you and I both thought, and you may still think, that the Brooklyn Nets could win the championship without Kyrie Irving. But I thought that based on James Harden being the superstar James Harden, not just the all-star James Harden. And James Harden needs to average 25, 26 points a game when Kyrie's not there. And to hear him say 2 weeks ago, Rob, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Do I need to score more? Do I need to be a playmaker? I'm paraphrasing, but this is what he said. Dude, I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm telling you, you need to score more. It ain't rocket science. It ain't calculus. If Kyrie were there, Rob, what James Harden is doing would be fine. Totally fine. In fact, it'd be perfect as the third scorer, what he's doing. But with Kyrie gone, it's not enough. And I don't even think they'll win the East if this is the best James Harden can do, let alone a championship. And he's not being, a lot of people thought, Rob, well, it's the change in the rules and the way the officials are calling things, because obviously a big part of his scoring
ain't the only one.
was getting to the
Trae
line.
Young. There's a number of players who have
Damian Lillard.
Right.
You know,
he's
but
not the only one, right?
He's now getting to the line 7.5 times a game. So he's starting to get to the line more, and that's the same as he got to the line last year.
Right.
But what is it? He's not being consistently aggressive, Rob. He's shooting 14 shots a game, which is his lowest since he left Oklahoma City after his third season in the league. And that's what I'm talking about. He needs to get back, not back to what he was in Houston when he was, averaging 30 points a game, but you got to be more aggressive. You got to complement KD's 28 with 25, 26 of your own if they're going to have a chance to win the championship, Rob.
My only thing is it's way early. The idea, Chris, that he can't improve. You're talking about 21 points, and you're saying he needs 25.
I'm hoping he can improve. Yeah.
No, but I'm going to believe that James Harden, as time progresses and as time works and goes forward, will be better and will play better. We saw it. I don't believe he can't get there from 21 to 25 or whatever, 26 points, that he can't get there. They've had a couple other injuries. I know Joe Harris is out. They've had some other things that have gone that haven't been great. Blake Griffin's not playing. They took him out of the rotation, right, Chris?
Right.
What
he
wasn't the
played
impact
last night because Aldridge wasn't there.
But you know what I'm saying, right? The same stuff that he had been giving them, because he was fantastic last year once he joined the Nets.
Well,
so
he was good.
I'm just saying from what where he was coming
doing,
from Detroit, right, where he was almost a zero. So I'm not in that camp yet. I need to see this play out. I need to see things go forward and watch the team. In this NBA, you need 2 stars, not 3. 3 is like vanilla ice cream on top of cheesecake and sweet potato pie. That's what 3 stars of that caliber is. You know what I mean?
But would you admit? I
know what you're saying.
Hope too.
I know what you're saying.
If with this James Harden, doesn't he have to get better? Does he have to be better?
Yes,
okay.
but I'm holding out that he will get better.
Yeah, I'm not saying
time.
He can't
I'm
be.
not writing him off after the first 20 games, saying, "Oh my God, this is James Harden and the Nets can't win." I just don't believe in that. I think he'll be a better player as we move forward, and he'll get more back to, because we saw it last year when KD wasn't there. You remember he was in.
He was great.
He was like almost. We were talking about him being an MVP for a stretch of 15 games. You remember? And they just were winning every night. And
That's
it was just him. It was him and Kyrie last year, right? So
I think a few explanations. Yeah, a few explanations, Rob. One is what you just said. He's off to a slow start. He'll get better. He's already improved from what he was.
He has gotten better. Right. You got to say that, right? The last 2 weeks have been way better than the first 4.
Yeah, and even, so he may get going and improve. Okay, I'm open to that. Another explanation, Rob, he had the worst hamstring injury in the history of mankind. Because he hasn't been the same, and he blamed the hamstring. Sound like an excuse, but still, he blamed the hamstring. He didn't have time to work in off season, was rehabbing, blah, blah, blah. He was balling, just what you were talking about before the injury. But since then, since re-aggravating it against Boston, because he was good in that series against Boston, He hasn't been the same. So that's number 2. Number 3, Robin, I'm just throwing this out. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying it's a possible explanation that I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. It could be, Rob, age and attrition. James Harden is 32. James Harden is in his 13th season. And you're going to trip off this, Rob. James Harden has already played more regular season games than Larry Bird did.
That's crazy.
And here's another thing. James Harden is 12 games away from equaling the total number of games that Allen Iverson played. So my point is this. He's already had a full career. Right? Like we think of him still as relatively young in his prime, not young, but, smack dab in the middle of his prime. But Rob, everybody doesn't have a 15-year prime, and so
right. No,
I'm just saying it could be a possibility. I don't,
At 32, I'm not there yet, and I just need to see more of the season to be able to figure out where he is. And I think he has gotten better, Chris, and if he continues to get better and they kind of get going and he is the player that we know he can be, I like those two guys together. I think that they can make it happen in the East and give a shot at a championship. I really believe that. And I believe that he was trying to make an adjustment in the beginning, like with the refs and the way they were calling the game. And he was off to a slow start. But I think you agree, and you said it. He has improved of late and is playing way better.
But not enough.
Said that, right,
not enough. He got to still get better. Rob, you said it. He's got to be the James Harden he was a year ago.
Right.
And, he's going to play. He's not going to play like he did in Houston. But
no, you don't need him to play like that
caliber.
In Houston, though. Right.
He doesn't have to put up the same numbers, but Rob, he does have to be that caliber of player, right?
Right. I understand
in
that.
a different way, more assists, fewer points, but that caliber. He has to be a superstar.
Right.
Entering the season, you think he's like a top 6 player in the league.
To win a championship, you need 2 stars.
Right.
Like that. That's
he
not
got
a
be
star and a half a star. You need 2 stars.
Right.
2 stars can get it done. We saw Giannis do it with 1.5 stars, if you want to call Chris Middleton.
Well, and that's a feather in Giannis's cap.
It is.
Because I don't know if these two, 2 stars can obviously win it, but can these 2 stars win it? I think when they're both at their best, they got a good shot.